This podcast episode is sponsored by WePrintWraps.com. Less risk, no overhead, wholesale printing. And don't forget to use offer code all wrapped up at checkout and receive 10% off your purchase. Offer ends January 31st, 2018. Today's guest has been in the sign industry for over 12 years as an outside salesperson. After falling in love with the art, creativity, and clients' reactions to the wraps, her and her husband decided to open up their own shop. With their intense desire to see the vehicle wrap industry grow, they launched WePrintWraps.com. Please welcome Trish Dill. What's up, everybody? Thanks for tuning in to All Wrapped Up Podcast. We'll be interviewing industry-leading wrap companies to share tips, tricks, stories, and more. We've got Trish Dill from We Print Wraps in Arizona. How are you today?
Oh, I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing great. Usually I start off the podcast by talking about what you had going on in your shop today. So could you share with us?
Oh, sure. So obviously we're a wholesale wrap printing company. So we've got a number of things in our shop. I mean, all kinds of projects. I mean, we're printing everything from boat wraps to I think there was a Porsche. I mean, it's ridiculous the amount of things that kick through. Just to say some things that have just recently come through this past week that were kind of odd stuff is we did a wrap print for a Cirrus airplane. So because we're wholesale wrap printers, we get to see all the fun projects that all of these independent installers and sign companies and wrap shops are doing all over the country.
Right.
So that's exciting. Yeah.
That's awesome. And you've only been doing the wholesale printing just for a little bit now, right?
Actually, we launched it at WrapsCon in July.
Okay.
Absolutely. And it was an amazing launch. We had a booth at WrapsCon. So we were right next to the Avery booth. So we had a lot of traffic. As you know, WrapsCon is the premier trade show for vehicle wraps and the vehicle wrap industry. So what better way to launch a wholesale wrap printing company than at WrapsCon? What we were able to do is we had I think it was a 58-inch monitor, TV, and basically we had laptops and we basically streamed our site so that as people come up, we could explain what we had to offer and how the process works and how we can help, shops, vehicle wraps, vehicle wrap installers. And it was amazing. I mean, the response was immediate. Literally, the first day that we launched, we had orders online.
There isn't that many wholesale printing companies that specifically cater to the wrap industry, too. I mean, you're one of...
Yeah, and it's actually... Yeah, it's not just that. It's what's really cool is currently on the web right now, and you have to know that the web is huge, obviously. There is not one company that is dedicated to printed vehicle wraps and only printed vehicle wraps.
Right.
Anywhere. I mean, there's a lot of places that are printing vehicle wraps. They say that they're wholesale, but they're also printing other things. They're doing all kind. There's not one that you can go at 2 in the morning and just say, I just want to buy a wrap that's printed. I have my file. I'm just going to log on and upload this file and pay for it online and go back to sleep. I mean, I'm just saying, there's nobody doing that. So this is kind of a one-in-a-kind type thing. What makes us so unique is we're offering prices that are the lowest right there on the market currently today, and it's for 3M IJ180 CV3, and it's Avery 1105, and that's with lamination. So this is good quality material. This is, good stuff. And
Right.
It's at great prices so that people can, the feedback that we had kept getting, and I guess I should probably start from the very beginning on why we even launched We Print Wraps, is I've been in the sign industry actually for 12 years. I started out at a fast sign, and
So at a franchise.
Yeah, it's an interesting story. At Fast Signs, we were a sign company,
Right.
and I was doing outside sales, and I started selling vehicle wraps. So we were a sign company, really didn't do that, right? So
Yep.
we kind of transitioned that because of what I was bringing to the table. But we bought the machine to do it, and we started to get, more and more people wanting it. But at the time, our owner just did not see the value in vehicle wraps. They hated the overhead, and they didn't want to do it. And I was saying the fact that all of this money was being left at the table. The thing that I also loved about it is the creativity aspect. I am in love with automotive. I love what we get to do with our graphic designers. I love seeing the process. I love the customers' faces when they see the vehicle wrap and they see the transformation. So my husband was a production manager, and he saw the same thing. He loved it. He went and got 3M training, and he's now a 3M preferred installer. But even at that inception, and this was about 8 years ago, we both thought, wow, this is great. Fast forward to 4 years ago, we jumped ship. My husband's like, wow, we need to start our own sign company. We're doing all this for this other Fast Signs. It's a franchise that doesn't believe in our vision. They don't love the art. They don't love the aspect of the creativity. They don't love vehicle wraps. They hate doing them.
Right.
We could see the potential. We saw that. So we said, let's start our own company. And we decided to do that, which was, at the time, was like, you just didn't do that. I mean, I was harassed. The owner of that Fast Sign I had a non-compete. She was like, you can't do that. You can't start your own company. And my husband's like, look, Trish, this is the American dream. We have every ability to be able to start our own company. So we either buy the Fast Sign or we start our own brand. And his thought was, why in the world would we buy a Fast Sign when we know how to do everything?
Right.
We know the machines. We know every single thing about how to produce everything from signage to vehicle wraps. So that's what we did. And we took that philosophy of vehicle wraps. And actually, the funny thing is, going into Desert Sign, for 4 full years, and we're still active in Desert Sign, about 65% initially was vehicle wraps.
Right.
That's what we sold. And now it's like 80%. That's what people know us for, is the vehicle wraps.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And so when we started Desert Signs, we started out, and it was difficult because we had no machine. We literally didn't. That's how we started. It was like by our bootstraps. Like, we were either make it or break it, and we had no machine. So we had to outsource. And it was painful to do that, but after a month or two, we were able to get a machine. We saw the viability. We bought the machine. We started doing it. So we know how difficult it is to get quality materials and not have to worry about your competition stealing your client, and having something that you can still sell retail. You can buy it wholesale and actually make a profit.
Right.
So we took that and for years, and with Desert Sign, we started outsourcing to other installers. So they were coming to us, and we were printing wholesale material, and we were doing that all over Arizona. And we started shipping in California, and Brice's idea was like, wow, Trish, we're in this industry we love. Now we got to be in a magazine. We got to be in Sign and Digital Graphics, and we're doing all these fun projects, and we're producing a wholesale wrap for all these installers. And he's like, man, people are hitting us up, and they're in other states. And then finally he had his eureka moment, and he's like, we need to start a wholesale wrap company for everybody all over the country. Why can't we, right now we're just helping the people who are contacting us in Arizona, but we need, how can we expand this? So that's how it started. His idea of everybody deserves wrap. Just as I would, like, he was like, man, I order material in the middle of the night if I need it, because I'm working on a project, and wow, I need to order from England, a roll of wrap, and he thought, wow, wouldn't it be great if somebody could say, sheesh, I have a rush job. I need to order this printed digi-camo for this ATV. Somebody can just do it in the middle of the night. So that was the idea. How do we do this, but make it so it's so user-friendly that anybody can go online and order it? And so that's what we did.
That's awesome.
At Rapscom.
That's awesome. And you do it differently because your pricing is your pricing. And that's the biggest thing when you're using an outsource like that, is that your pricing is not always going to be the same. You might send them a small job, might be 100 square feet. You're going to pay $4 a square. And then your next job's going to be 50 square feet. You're paying $6 a square. They're built on, square footage. For every square foot, it's so many dollars. And it sucks because sometimes you got to go through the whole motion and be like, oh, I gotta take the whole square footage and figure what that is. And then hopefully they'll give me this price, because you're like God forbid you're just a few square feet under, the $5 mark, as opposed to doing $3.
I mean,
it's hard.
And that's one of the things that when we first started our sign company, when we had to outsource our wraps, we saw it's like people who are calling themselves wholesale wrap companies, they were saying, okay, it's pricing, but it's so many square feet. So if you need 100 square feet, it's $6.50 a square. If you need 300 square feet, then now it drops to $4 a square.
Right.
So just like you said, it's a nightmare. And if somebody's bidding a job, it's so much easier for that person who's bidding a job to know any day, anytime, it's going to be $3.50 a square foot for Avery.
Right.
So now I'm going to have I have the power to sell this. No matter what, I'm not having to go and, hey, can I get a quote? And people who are sending us messages and emails on Instagram and even regular email, they're like, hey, I just want you guys to know I'm so free at this moment to be able to do what I want to do because I don't have to keep hitting people up for quotes. I feel like if I need a design, you guys are offering that as well, and I can do it at my leisure. I'm not having to pick up the phone and call for a quote, so.
Yeah, and that saves a huge step.
Yeah.
Especially when you get a quote in and you know how hectic it is. I've gotten to the point where I lost a $5,000 job within 5 minutes. It literally, my phone binged that I got an email, and I waited 5 minutes, and somebody else had already gave them a quote, and they already signed a contract. 5 minutes. That's all it took.
I agree. I know, and it's really it's cutthroat out there. So who has the time to call two wholesale companies to try to get the best rate and calculate it, and it could be a real nightmare.
Yeah.
And I think if anything, as an independent installer, you want to know that you have the ability to, install a product that you were able to get printed, and you can say, hey, this is what I'm providing my client, not just, I'm going to install your product. So
right. Exactly.
It's just awesome. Yeah.
Talk to me a little bit about your equipment setup. I know being wholesale, some people have this, massive machines, and they think you're running 5 or 10 machines at one time. Tell me what type of setup you guys have solely for the We Print wraps.
Right. Yes. We print with HP latex machines. We have several 570s, and we have two 370s. So we have about 5 machines total. But based on the needs, we're able to acquire another machine. If we had an account that said I just uploaded, we saw it, and it was an order that came through for 25,000 square feet worth of material, and it was something that we wanted to do, we could get a machine same day. I mean, we have that ability, but
wow.
we're able to ship within 1 to 2 business days on pretty much any type of order.
That's incredible.
Which is unheard of.
Yeah.
With HP latex machines, it's some of the best quality as far as people embedding their PMS colors and having. We have the best color calibration. I think across the board, what makes us able to do what we do is because HP latex machines, can instantly be laminated. There's no outgassing required. There's no waiting period between, printing it and rolling it up and getting it boxed and shipping. It's other machines require that they fit. You can't laminate. You can't, so that's what's awesome
right.
about the machines that we run is that for speed and efficiency, we're able to print and ship, within 1 day if need be.
That's great.
And what's awesome is we do have a pretty decent sized facility. So we're able to work, we have upstairs and downstairs, we're able to work multiple crews. When we have bigger projects, we'll have a night crew, knock things out.
So how many people do you have actually working?
We have a team of 7. So we're able to do quite a bit with that. What's really great about what we do is, we're not having to worry about a lot of graphic design because they're providing us, output files normally. Mm-hmm. So we have the graphic design capabilities, but a majority of our orders come in and their files are uploaded. We pre-flight them, make sure that they're good, but we send them to print. So which just makes things much faster for us. The files are coming in from trained professionals, a lot of other, not only installers, but we get quite a number of wrap shops and sign companies ordering from us.
Right.
Which is, you wouldn't think a sign company would order even another wrap shop, but even just yesterday we had a pretty decent size order. I mean, it was like 3,000 square feet, and they do wraps and signs, and they didn't want to tie up their machine. They got a big order. They have a machine. They have the capability to print it, but they also have other clients they need to service.
Right.
So they went ahead and ordered it on our site so that we can take care of it. They can continue to do what they do, and it's not tying up their printers.
Yeah, and it's not cutting into their profit either,
Oh, yeah. I mean,
big.
In some cases, we had, people inquiring about, hey, I have a big government job. It's, 28,000 square feet of material, and I don't want to have to buy another machine because I don't know what's going to happen after that. I have one machine, but do I need to buy another just for this? No, they can outsource it to us. We can print it. We can ship it to them, and they don't have to worry about the overhead of carrying another machine just to get it done because they don't want to tie up theirs. So there's a lot of benefits for everybody. It's not just your installers that are working out of their garage. This is sign companies. This is wrap shops. Believe it or not, we're getting a ton of auto tint companies, clear bra companies, they're all getting wraps now, and it's because a lot of the customization on vehicles is leaning towards not just color changes, but really cool printed wraps.
Right.
That's kind of incorporation of both. So they're seeing the value in upselling their current customers to something really cool like printed wraps. So
I think that, people don't think of wholesale wrap companies or even just wholesale printers to free up their own shop, and that's a great representation as far as they must be a really well built business to think outside the box like that, because a lot of people be like, oh, we'll get that done, we'll just work a couple more hours, but those hours turn into dollars that you may be losing. You might be making a lot more just sending it off the print and it's, to your company.
I mean, if you can, honestly, they're going to be using good production people, and those good production people to print the additional wrap is going to be, probably overtime, because now you're saying, oh, I've got to produce my current workload, and now I've got to produce this very, very large project that we're not used to doing, and it's under a deadline. So now this crew is going to have to work, after hours. So that means overtime, which means additional pay, which is going to raise the price of what they think it should cost. Will probably end up being more than just outsourcing it. So, we've come to the rescue for a number of shops for not only that reason, but we've had, lots of people who contacted us and been like, well, our machine went down.
Right.
We need this printed by Tuesday. I need it in hand Tuesday, and we're sitting on Friday. Friday morning, we're able to print, ship it, get it to them so they can still service their client. And a lot of times it's because of the fact that our rates are lower than what is in their current market, and they don't want to have to outsource to people in their current market. Those are good clients, and they don't want to risk, they may not have a big, strong relationship with other wrap shops in the area that can print for them. That They feel comfortable that not only is the quality going to be good for their customer, but that they're not going to get their, client swooshed away, So
yeah.
Those are a lot of different things. We're something that's, there's no competition with us. You don't have to worry about that. We, blind ship if they require. We take care of what's needed and we ship it. Any of the things that you ever do see on our Instagram, or if we happen to showcase another installer or wrap shop's work that we have printed, it's because they've asked us to do it, or they say, hey, it's okay for you to show that. We never, ever showcase anything that's being produced in our shop that isn't, exclusively asked to do, or the wrap shops. Yeah, that's fine. Go ahead and show a pic of it, because we don't want to jeopardize our client base. And we do realize that it is wholesale and there is exclusivity to that. So
exactly.
We take that really seriously. Yeah.
That's great. Talk to me a little bit about, because you guys do things a lot differently. You guys have a designer that designs the wraps as well. If you don't have an in-house designer, or if you're a different firm or you're not in the wrap industry, you can actually have a wrap designed and proofs made for that client, and have the wrap printed at your facility. Talk to me a little bit about that, because you've got some great companies that are designers that you guys use as well, and we can get into that too. But you have an in-house designer that does a lot of your work.
Yes. Exactly. So one of the things that when we were at WrapsCon, we got tons of feedback. That was why we were there. We were launching, and it was exciting to kind of talk to different installers, different wrap shops, different sign companies that happen to be at WrapsCon. But one of the things that kept coming up is, can you offer the design? And that was one of the things at the time we said, we can't. That's not how this is built. This is, you upload your file. You have to have a file that you provide us. So we've kept that model pretty consistent for the first 3 months. And we found that, a lot of people were having trouble with that. They were like, we really want the design if you would just offer design. So we decided to do that. And it has been huge. I mean, it's been so much that we've had to dedicate one single designer to We Print Wraps because it's been ridiculous. So basically what's on our website, if you go to products, you're going to see graphic design by the hour. So it's $75. And then you're going to see a flat rate, basic custom wrap design, which means it's simple, and it's $275, right? And then underneath that, it's, it's like we have preferred wrap artists that we work with,
right?
Pretty well-known wrap artists. So basically the way it works is this. If somebody had a small back window and maybe a partial wrap, and they said, we only think it's going to take 2 hours of design. They pay for the 2 hours. They upload the content that they'd like to include, and they kind of describe, more or less what they want to see. And by content, it could just be a logo and just some words, and
right.
Hey, these are the colors. We do the rest, right? So then we take that, we design it. We also include a branded design proof. So that design proof will have that specific shop's logo in the corner,
which is huge.
So
that's such a great little detail.
It is, and they're able to sell to their client a graphic design, and they're able to do that where the client is happy. They feel that they're getting something from that specific installer that is branded with their client, their name and their information, and it's giving these installers and these smaller wrap shops that don't have a designer in house the ability to sell projects they aren't able to do otherwise. It's empowering them.
Right. It shows value too.
It does. It shows value. So you're basically, this is the setup. So it's the hourly, if it's something really small and basic. They can pay $275 if it's a wrap, but it's a little more detailed, but it's just a business wrap, right? Something maybe can be a little fun with different candles and stuff. If they come to us, and they come to us quite a bit, and they say, hey, I really need something really detailed. I want something, could include some hand drawing. It can be, I have this SEMA car and it's a whole crazy design. Then what we do is we email them right back and say, actually, none of these prices are going to be what you want. What you're going to want to do is contact a preferred wrap artist.
Right.
Those preferred wrap artists are, if you go to the scroll all the way down on the site, you'll see several. One of them is Scott Skeppel, or Skeppel Inc. You'll see Dan Nava's on there with Ibo.
Yep, great guy. Had him on the podcast a few weeks back.
Oh, he's amazing and so well connected in the industry. I mean, he's great. You'll see Kick Charge Creative, or formerly D Signs, and you know all about his stuff.
Yep, Dan Antonelli, great guy. I actually have him coming on the podcast soon as well, for next month.
Well, you should be very excited about that. Dan is like, he's a pioneer. I mean, you talk about somebody who's basically helped kickstart the industry. That would be Dan. Yeah. I mean, it's just amazing. Just being around these people it's incredible. They just know what they're doing. They know their stuff.
Very, very humbling with the type of tight knit people that you actually have just in these designers here. I mean, the tight knit community that you have, the top of the top in here for an option. It's just incredible.
Yes. Yeah, it's great. I mean, so what we're doing is we're saying, hey, this design that you want is not something that's going to be $275. It's something that you're going to want to work with a highly trained graphic design company. So that's where we say, hey, if it's for like a rebrand and they want something completely specific, and it's for a business that is like they want something like something. Yes, but something crazy. I mean, it could be Kick Charge Creative, because they specialize in actually creating a custom logo that will be something that will carry a company on for the next 25 years. They're real detailed in that. And if it's something that's for a SEMA car, then it would be Scuffle. So we empower our We Print Wraps customers to reach out to them. There's a clickable link, and then it's up to Skeppel Design Studio to dictate a price. We don't go there that far. It's just basically a soft referral so that they can be connected in the right way, because we know that not everybody's going to want something basic like that. They may want to pay the good money to get one of these from Skeppel. So
yeah,
so it's just giving them, because we know for a fact these are viable companies that offer the graphic design, and sometimes you get some of these We Print Wraps customers that are a little green, a little bit on the greener end, and they're just starting out, and they may not know who to contact for that. So it's good to be able to offer the good referral that people that we can trust in the industry that are doing amazing work.
Right. I was going to ask too, when you were into the in-house designer, how many revisions do you guys give the client after you've got this basic concept? Because I know a lot of people will do like 2 or 3 revisions at the $275 rate, just so people know.
We actually don't charge a revision fee.
Okay.
And we generally will say after 3 to 4 revisions, we'll talk about if there's an additional design fee for the time that's involved. And a lot of it comes to the fact that it's when our graphic designer contacts the client via email, we're asking the leading questions. We're making sure that they're concise in their response on their revision. A lot of times when they'll email us, they'll give us several revisions. Our graphic designer will usually email back and explain, okay, so you want this, 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 and this. Are you sure you don't need anything else before we put this in our revision schedule? Just to kind of make sure, because that's one of the things that I think every graphic designer in the industry hates, is when you have a client who's giving you one revision, you make it, oh, now I want this, and you make it. So we try to lead on that, by replying back and confirming everything. But every client is different. Some of them require, no revisions. Others have, 2 or 3. But at the moment, we don't have a revision fee. It's just additional graphic design fee if they're getting in past the 2 hours that they paid for. When we get, up to a half hour close, we usually email back, okay, at the moment, you already exhausted about an hour and a half. You've got another half hour of design time left.
Right.
If this is going to take more than that, you're going to want to hop on to We Print Wraps and pay for another hour. So that's why we have that hourly on there, so we can tack it on if they want to hop on and purchase more. So, and it's one of the things that we saw like a huge increase once we decided to launch that. People that were, on the fence about using us were now able to. And the funny thing is, a lot of them have used us for their own shop vehicle, because they were saying, oh, well, I want to quote. Well, I'm really worried about this because I don't have a designer. And now a lot of them are saying, okay, I'm purchasing the design flat rate for $275 so we can go ahead and create a shop vehicle. So we want to really hit up these wraps. We want to sell more. So that's allowing them for us to custom design their own shop vehicle. And then they're able to showcase the work that they're doing. Now they can not only design, but they can sell printed wraps and do it all in one spot. So
yeah, and have confidence.
It really
in
helps them.
A good product. Yeah, the investment is quite a bit, not even including just the printing aspect of it and having a printer and a laminator. That could cost thousands of dollars easily. But just the investment of your software to design it and to be able to hire a designer to design.
And we're not. Yeah, and it's not even talking just about that. If you want to really get into the details of it, it's not even that. It's somebody who is also, now you have to hire a machine operator.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really want to be the one who is messing with your machine in the middle of the day trying to get a print to go? Or do you going to hire somebody to do that while you install the wrap?
Right.
So because you can do both, but to be smart about it, then you have to hire somebody to do it. So not only do you have the cost of the machine, but now you have the overhead of additional person to run the machine. Then not only that, what if you only sell, God forbid you sell one partial that month because you're a smaller operation, because you do window tint and you do clear bra and you sell wraps, but hey, I only sold one partial. Are you going to buy a whole 3M wrap kit for your one partial?
Right.
That costs $1,000 and you only need $300 worth of material.
Yeah.
That's going to sit there for another month and a half until you sell it again. It comes to play, and it's like I said, theoretically, people who are looking at this, they may say, oh, it's not for me. But even if you have a shop, we're getting people with shops who are calling us because they're like, man, I have a shop. We're busy. I don't want to have to worry about these 6 wraps that came in this week. I've already got them on the schedule for next week for install. We just need to print them. So it's like we're really getting to a point where we're getting a lot of repeat clients, and they absolutely love the fact of how easy it is. And they don't have to sink in another guy to keep running the machine. They can focus on other stuff.
Right.
You know?
Going out and making money.
And it's not, running machines and having to deal with that isn't for everybody. Some people want to focus on the artistry of it and just installing wraps because that's what they love to do.
Right.
And that's okay too. They can install wraps and not have to worry about the headache of printing them.
Yeah. Well, how often, I was going to get into that, how often are things getting messed up? Because every shop has it. How often are there small hiccups in either a print or a lamination or anything like that? Because you have to really factor as a business, especially wholesale, because you're already at that threshold of just making enough money that you can't toss anything away. Those little quirks happen once in a while.
Yeah, they definitely, I'm going to knock on wood here, but it's not often as you might think or consider, but it does happen. It happens. And it's something that will be everything from, having a hiccup in one of the machines, or it could be an issue with, color saturation. It could be something that happened with, the file that somebody provided. It's just various things can go wrong, and they have gone wrong in the past. And it's not often, believe it or not. It happens every once in a while, but it's not anything that we're not used to. Being printers and being in the business so long, we know that stuff does happen.
Right.
One of the things that we really pride ourselves in are the quality of the prints that we provide in the vinyls. So everything when we provide it, they get it, open the box, and they can literally panel out their wrap and they can install it. If it's something that we designed because they purchased design, we're going to include design layout, so they can take that right out of the box, tape it up, next to the wrap and start going,
That's
everything.
great.
All the panels are cut down to size. At the end of the print, it's going to tell you, what was printed, the time, the file name, so they can kind of sort through and say, okay, this is one panel and lay it out.
Right.
So
that's huge too.
We make it as easy as possible. But as far as, recuts, it happens.
Right.
It happens, and it happens, not so much where we're, not wanting to go to work every day, but it happens, and when it does, we just scrap it, figure out what went wrong, and go to reprint it as fast as possible.
Yeah.
One of the biggest things for us is how fast we are. Everything about what we do is about speed and efficiency. Because
right.
when people are ordering, a lot of times they're ordering out of state, and it's far out of state. We're getting orders from New Jersey, Hawaii, Florida, South Florida. So we don't want these orders to sit in our shop for 3 days. We want them printed, we want them boxed, we want them shipped immediately. 1 to 2 days is what our max is, but usually we try to get stuff out the next day. It just depends on how big the files are and what comes in. And
now the operations, is it just Monday through Friday, or is it 7 days a week?
It's Monday through Friday.
Okay.
Because we want to have staff that likes to work for reprint wraps. We don't want to revolt. Yeah, so we are a Monday through Friday operation, and that's another reason why we try to be as efficient as possible. We tell our clients up front, it's 1 to 2 days. If you need it sooner, you can specify that in the notes section of the order, and we will contact you and let you know if we can do that. We've done stuff the same day.
Really?
It's not uncalled for. As long as the order is placed by 10 a.m., we can. If it's a request, we'll get it the same day.
Charge more? Charge the same?
No, same. That's the same price. We do not charge a rush fee or anything.
That is super key right there. When you're in a deadline and you need something tomorrow, or like at least the 2 days, to have that option is incredible. That right there shows testament to you completely committed to the industry and your product, and you're able to help anybody out, as much as you can. Obviously, you don't want to get a phone call on Friday at 9 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, I need this by tomorrow. May not work that way every time, but at least you go above and beyond to get that product to the client.
Oh yeah, for sure. And that's one of the things that we want to set ourselves apart, because we want to be there to help. That's why we're here, so we can take your overflow, we can take your rush job, we can take something that may or may not be, you want to deal with at the moment. We can make it happen so that you can do what you love to do best, which is install. Because a lot of times people are ordering and they like installing. They don't want to have to hassle with the print part.
Right.
And I guess I can kind of go back to, the fact that we have our own sign shop. We know about vehicle wraps. We love vehicle wraps. We're installers. That's that's why we keep saying buy wrappers for wrappers.
Right. That's huge.
We come from that industry because, we do it all the time. We love it. We know the best way to do things. When we get files, we check them. And like I mentioned before, we check every file, but we also, contact the client and say, hey, this isn't paneled right. Like, this will be a lot easier if you do it this way. Are you sure you want it this way? We'll kind of, I hate to say educate, but we'll kind of, contact them if a file isn't right. If the resolution is poor and we know it's a transit van and we know that how it's going to look, immediately we send an email and we do a phone call if we don't hear a response within 4 hours and say, hey, we pre-flighted this and it is really pixelated. Do you want to go ahead and check this out? And, and they'll contact us. Yep, we know it's a billboard. It's not a concern. Or, yeah, I definitely need to switch it. So we see all angles. It's not like some of these big, like 4over or something that's like a giant conglomerate where there's no human interaction. It goes to print. No, we're actually checking this stuff. Yeah, because we feel like we want to expand the industry, and what better way for us to get a repeat client is to provide them a quality product. Right. They may not realize how poor of a resolution is, but if we educate them in that sense and they're able to upload a different file and we give them a knockout transit wrap, guess what? 4 weeks, they're going to probably get another client. They're going to want to order again or even tomorrow. It's just, so us being Johnny on the spot and us pre-flighting every file and us making sure the product is quality is, ensuring them to get future clients, and hopefully, means they'll come back to us. And we see that. We keep seeing repeat customers, which is amazing,
Yeah, that's definitely what you want. When a scenario comes up like that, it seems like you have a pretty knowledgeable team that knows, whether it's the designer that just kicked it to the printer and he saw it, started printing it, and just noticed something was not right, that he can go back and relay. I think that's a huge part of having a big successful business is the communication between the designer, the print production person, or even just a regular production guy that just is laminating, cutting these panels and making sure they're boxed in the right box, the labels are right. I mean, there's so many moving parts, that a box can get shipped to another client with the wrong graphics at some point, and it's just good to have people that are knowledgeable and understand it's got to go A, B, C and not skip any steps. And if there's something wrong, they go back. You need to have like a good staff and people who really know the industry to understand and notice when things are wrong, to come back and, ask questions. Because some shops, absolutely. How often do little guys shops are like, yeah, they sent me the file, I'm just going to print it. They don't care. You know what I mean? And then you go to print it, and then that's it. You're stuck with it, And
yeah, by far, that is one of the biggest things that sets us apart. Is exactly, you hit the nail on the head. It's like, you're gonna have some peace of mind when you send a file to us, because if it's not right when we pre-flight it, we're gonna let you know. So it's not, because you're right. How often have you heard of somebody getting something wholesale and they're like, hey, you sent me the file? There's nothing, because they basically blindly print. They don't care. It's not their customer that is getting it, quote unquote, And our whole business model with We Print Wraps is opposite of that. It's like, your file, you are our customer. We want to make sure you look good. We want to make sure this thing is good when you open up that box. All you have to do is install it. A lot of times they're like, oh, I don't have to cut it down. I don't have to, if it's cut contour, I don't have to weed and mask it. No, we're going to give this thing to you weed it out. You just have to do what you do, you know? So it's really cool because we get such great feedback, you know, because it's always nice when you can do something in life that you really feel like you are helping people out. And we really do feel like we help people out. You know, it's like we're helping them.
Right.
So
Definitely giving back. I see it. You know, giving back to the industry. This is huge. I mean, there's nothing like this. I'm so glad that you came on. And I talked to people that just wrap color changes. And I've got a lot of commercial guys that are starting to come on to the podcast that I constantly tell them, if you're ever in a jam, call We Print Wraps. I mean, the pricing is consistent.
Yeah. And if you want to kind of drill down on, you know, how we have so many color change artists in the industry and they're doing so much amazing work, but they're not expanding to the growth that they could if they started introducing some business wraps to their portfolio. Mm-hmm. And I can say that, and I say it all day long because we see it and we see the change and we see the transition who clients, even after just a few months, who are doing strict color changes that are now introducing business wraps to their portfolio, and they're able to hire additional staff. They're busy, they're repeats, they're sending us other clients, they're having us getting things designed, and they're expanding their own business by introducing it. The thing with a lot of these color change artists that they're seeing is they're saying, wow, I'm doing this Lamborghini wrap. It's taking me a full week. We're taking it apart, and it's costing, you know, we're making a profit of this amount. If I sold this one Transit, this NV200, I could get it done in 6 hours. I'm going to make almost the same amount of money.
Almost the same amount. Yeah. It's easy
money.
I'm
just saying a lot. It is. And I can name a few. I mean, if I had to, just off the top of my head, just as I'm speaking, that have literally said, this is the game changer.
Yep.
We never even, you know, our dream was to continue to do these color changes, but it's not always that you're going to have them every week. And it's just, there's only so many of these exotics in their area. It's right. Not the same for everybody. I know that, but it's nice to be able to have a couple of these filler business wraps to keep coming in because they're fleets, and a lot of the fleets are repeat clients. You know, they buy additional vehicles, they're fleets, so they're always growing and they always come to you. So it's like a nice residual client base when they introduce the business wraps, and they're taking so much, you know, as far as install, they're so much faster.
Right.
On fleet wraps, you don't have to worry about, you know, certain things like taking out the handles. You know, most fleet wraps, and Justin Pate can tell you, you don't do all that stuff.
Yep.
It's faster, it's efficient, you're making more profit. It's great to add to your business because you're going to increase your client base, because now you don't have to just sell to exotics owners. You can sell to people who have, you know, business wraps that they need, or they have a fun camo wrap that they want on their truck. I mean, it just is so great. So they're able to do that, and they're not have to worry about the overhead of machines, staff, inks, printing. They can do it all, and they can say it's them, and their client's going to be happier for it. You know, so it's, to us, that's where we see the biggest value, because they're able to do work that they, you know, could only dream about, you know, or they were outsourcing already to somebody who said they were a wholesaler, but they're just a gritty fine shop. So it's just, it's crazy when you hear the stories that you hear after doing this for a while.
Right.
And even going back to Justin Pate, like, we actually advertise on the Wrap Institute.
Yes.
And I had a chance to sit down with him. Yeah, I was able to sit down with him at WrapsCon. One of the things he said was like, wow, that's great. He goes, in my training classes, that's one of the things I kind of tell installers, is that they should, you know, continue to try to do more and more of these business wrap installs. You know, right. That's why Wrapify is so great, because it's easier and it's faster, you know. And so it's cool to do those exotics. It's also great to be able to, you know, have some of those business wraps to help keep your wheels going in business, and even, you know, make more profit. So yeah, so he thought it was great. That's why we were able to get on board, you know, to advertise on Wraps Institute. We have a pre-roll commercial that airs to 20% of all of the videos that play all over the country. So that was just been immense. But yeah, he felt strongly about that too. He's like, we have to get some of these installers who are so into color changes to know that business wraps are really viable. They're a real great way to build your business.
Right. And all it takes is one big fleet to completely change your business. I mean, I've heard companies that, you know, get a fleet of like 200 vehicles, and they're busy for the next 8 months with that, and that's all it
Oh
takes.
yeah,
And
it's
you can,
amazing. Yeah. And maybe it's something where they, in order to get to that point, they've got to put some vehicle wraps under their belt to build up their portfolio so they can get a fleet of 200,
right.
So it's just great to be able to operate by, using us to get to that point. We can handle fleets as well. We love fleets, but it's just great to see that these independent installers can have the power to do some of these projects that they weren't able to do, or it was a hassle to do.
Right.
So it's just cool all around. We're excited about RapsCon coming up in August, and the things that we'll continue to talk about while we're there.
Marketing more of the commercial stuff during this next RapsCon.
Yes, and I think what we really transitioning to flat rate pricing.
Mm-hmm.
We have some things under development. I kind of talked to you about it a little bit. Basically, the way you order on the website now is you pick your product, either Avery or 3M, and then you have to enter each panel size in.
Right.
Or it says enter by square foot. Well, some of these guys are busy and they're installers, and maybe they don't know the square foot of every vehicle, right? So what we're doing is flat rate pricing, where they can literally go onto the flat rate page. They can put, like, if it's a micro car, like a smart car, they can click on micro, or they can click on mid-size car, and it's going to tell exactly what the price is for material for that car. And if it's a partial wrap, they'll click there, and then it'll say, okay, 3/4 wrap is this price. So that it's just making things a little faster, because sometimes some of these guys are like, man, I'm not a designer. I don't know how many panels this is going to be. I don't know what size each panel is. So it's just empowering them to be able to do things a little bit faster. And then, to be able to expand the market for us to anyone who wants to order. So it's great.
Oh, you're giving them the tools in order to be more efficient, which in turn makes them more money. And that's you giving them that luxury, which is unbelievable. Not every business would think in that mentality to help the other person out by giving them those tools, because those templates and those templates that give you the exact measurements of windows and each panel, how it should be laid out. I mean, those templates $600-700, and you only get from X year to maybe the new year, depending upon which time you buy it. But even the template's not cheap to buy that, and to have that in house.
So to be able to quote things on a quicker
fly
basis, or if they're not as inept in knowing how many square feet.
Right.
It's just an easier way for people to get something that they need for prices, And I think as time goes on, we're going to find more ways to continue to develop the site. And it's based on feedback, and it's based on the things that people are telling us. One of the things that makes us so unique is we actually have a live chat feature on our site, and it's immense. Like, we will get really awesome questions and really things that people are on the fly and they just want to talk to somebody. They're like, they don't want to order without chatting. They need to know certain things. And what's great is they can go on, click the chat button and ask. A lot of the questions are, hey, I want to do this, but I'm worried about the bleed. Do you guys account for that? Or just ask questions, and we're able to go on and answer. I actually love the fact that it's giving people peace of mind as a consumer myself. If it's a $1,300 project, and I was ordering, I might want to talk to somebody. So that's why when we were developing the site, that's one of the things that I put my foot down. I'm like, we have to have a chat feature, because to be able to open up a line of communication between us and our We Print Wraps customers is just huge. There's a lot of money that they're spending. We want to make sure that they're
comfortable,
understanding what we're doing, and able to answer their questions. And they know they're not speaking to somebody from China. They're not speaking to somebody in India. They know, hey, this is a real company,
right?
And we're going to answer your questions.
Speaking of
that's been huge.
Speaking of different countries, are you looking into spreading out other than being nationwide?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's been crazy. We get so many requests for Canada, and believe it or not, a lot of European countries. We get Belgium and Germany, and
wow.
We had one from Brazil just today. It's great. It's great to know that there's a need for that, even over there. As far as what we are seriously looking into, and it's we actually are looking into expanding into Canada this year. because we've gotten such an influx on requests from them, and it's something that we're developing currency on the site and making sure that the shipping is calculated accurately. But we definitely want to implement that coming this year in 2018. So yeah, it's good. It's good. It's a good feeling because we feel like, wow, we're adding some value, or this is something that people really want. So it's great to see.
Yeah, and you're not just offering the wrap stuff too. Let's just say if someone just needed a print done or a sign, just printed though, obviously, you can also just print that as well. It's not just the wrap panels.
That's kind of what the game changer was for us, is the no minimum.
Right.
People love that. They love that they don't have to buy a whole wrap. They can buy one window perf.
Yep.
And we're going to print it and we're going to ship it. And there's no square footage minimum. It's always going to be the same price that's listed on the site. And it's really cool because they're saying, wow, I can literally buy something for $20 and it's going to ship and print to me. And I don't have to worry about paying some ridiculous minimum or having a minimum where it's $100 minimum. You don't have any minimum. So it's really cool. And that's what's great about it is if you go on the site, it's wrap related products. So we have cut contour. So if you needed, cut graphics, but you just needed 2 for a door and you just want to get it knocked out, you could order just the cut contour graphics. We offer window perf because of the fact that you use that with a wrap, And the reason we do cut contour is because sometimes on a wrap, people like to have the overlay vinyl to incorporate with that wrap. So that's why the cut contour is on there.
Right.
So we're offering a lot of different products and die cut. So anything die cut is on that cut contour product, and they could get 50 little 20-inch stickers if they wanted to. It doesn't have to be, specifically to an entire wrap. It can be whatever they need. And it's kind of cool because a lot of times we'll see our We Print Wraps customers ordering something small.
Yeah.
And they do that first. And then a week later or 2 weeks later, they order a wrap.
Yeah.
And then they
just
order another
testing
wrap.
the quality.
You can see the pattern. A lot of these guys are smart. They know, they're savvy. So they'll order a small order, $60 order or something small, and then all of a sudden a couple, week later they get $1,600 order. So you're like, okay, now I see what they're doing. They're checking us out. They're making sure the quality and the speed of getting their product is good. But I mean, it's there. We're constantly getting these repeat customers, and honestly, it's a great feeling. Just to be able to wake up in the morning and we have notifications of the orders, and it's multiple orders. It's just great because you're like, oh, and they're different, and it's cool because they're all Seattle, Washington. It's like Las Vegas, and it's all these Colorado and Utah, and it's cool because you're just like all these people. For me as a business owner and somebody who's really passionate, about vinyl and vehicle wraps and like loves the industry, it's great to see. Wow, Brice, my husband and business partner, had this idea. It's like, to see that idea from a concept that we just discussed, we discussed it walking down in Waikiki because we were on vacation and had this long dinner, and we walked back to our hotel and we had this talk, about this vision. And for him to say, this is my idea, this is what we should do, to be able to have a developed website and functioning website where clients are literally ordering and we're shipping and printing all over the U.S. is huge.
Right.
So for us, it's like, this is awesome. It's like a dream come true because any person who's an entrepreneur who, has a vision for a product or, a company, to be able to have that concept and make it come to fruition. And not only that, make it benefit so many people who love it and were able to utilize that product. It's a good feeling.
Absolutely.
It's like, yeah. So it's just
the reach is incredible. Just like you said, you got people from like Washington, Colorado. It's just people just on a complete opposite
Hawaii.
side of where you live, and using you guys for a service it's awesome. It's I get the same feeling every time I talk to somebody. It's like I'm sitting here in Boston talking to you in Arizona or talking to Chuck up in Canada. It's unbelievable, and more or less partially to the social media presence has been tremendous. I think that really helps a lot business-wise to get the brand out there. And if you're just starting, just opening up an Instagram.
Oh yeah,
Costs you nothing.
I know. I can see that you're developing it, and people are responding to it because the rap industry is amazing. You know, it's worldwide, and your reach is huge, and it's only going to get bigger. But the fact is, the rap industry is some of the nicest and coolest people on earth. And I hate to say that, but it's true because I'm in the sign industry, and I know a lot of other industries, but the rap industry is amazing. You know, you got people who are passionate about it all over the world. And I feel, and I think a lot of other people feel, that it's just at its inception. Color
Right.
changes are just now coming in vogue, where it's like, we were at SEMA, we did the whole SEMA thing this year, and literally raps were dominating. I mean,
Yeah.
it was like you couldn't turn around before you saw a SEMA build that was not painted, that was wrapped. I mean, there was almost every other car out there was wrapped. So people are really catching on, and it's exciting to see, because everybody, you know, there's so many great organizations within the rap community that just want to see each other expand and grow, and it's benefiting everybody, really.
Right. Where do you
Awesome.
where do you see the industry going in the next 5 years? I know I ask this question once in a while to a couple of guests, but you know, you and I are so passionate about it. I'd like to hear your answer to something like that.
Yeah. I mean, I really see that it becomes more mainstream. I really feel like, you know, currently there's a lot of middlemen in the rap industry. You know, there's a lot of people that, you know, you have to go to a sign shop to buy a rap.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to talk to somebody over the counter. Then you have to get 3 quotes. You know, I really feel like it's going to expand to where consumers will be able to order it online themselves. You know, Vistaprint's doing it. A lot of other people are doing other similar industries where people are able to do it themselves. And I really feel it's going to go to a point where installers can be their own rap shops. They can not just install for various companies. They can sell and produce their own raps. That's what we want to see. And I think it's going to continue to grow. Right now, you know, like I said, we're at SEMA. You were seeing it everywhere. In our experience, a lot of auto body shops are starting to do, you know, instead of just having a paint booth, they're doing wraps. So I think it's just going to continue to grow to where consumers are going to be more and more aware and more purchasing of it, not just for color changes, but for printed wraps for their own businesses. And I think it's just going to continue to grow. West Coast Customs, I look at them, they're so well known, and they do nothing but wraps now. So it's like everybody is going to continue to see it grow. And I think in the next 5 years, hopefully it'll be so mainstream that there won't even be an idea of, you know, how I advertise it. It'll just be like, okay, I just need to get a wrap. Like, it should be second nature, and I think it will be at some point.
Right. Yeah. So. Just like back then, it's like, oh, you go get it airbrushed. You know, that was huge. You know, now it's just, hey, let's go get a wrap. You know, it's just going to be like you said.
I feel like it's going to be mainstream. You know, it'll be completely mainstream. You're going to just see it, and there won't be any question about what's a wrap and what isn't. It's just going to be so everyday that, you know, everyday consumers will have easy access to it, and installers, and it'll just be something where everybody can benefit by the fact that it'll be expanded so much. So, which is great.
Well, it's been such a pleasure talking to you and getting to know more about your business and what you're doing for the industry. I think you guys are doing such a great job, and you guys are innovating and making things more accessible for people like me as a designer or someone as an installer. I think you guys are doing absolutely the best work out there right now. And I'm honored to have you guys on.
Wow, that is so great of you to say. We really appreciate that. We love helping others. I mean, We Print Wraps is just hopefully continuing to stay on the forefront with developing what we do to make it easier for people to access vehicle wraps. And it's just a great feeling. But thanks for having us on. It's awesome.
No, thank you, Trish. I really appreciate it. Let everybody know where they can find you, websites, Instagram, Facebook, any type of social media accounts.
Sure. One other thing I want to mention is we're offering a discount for the next 2 weeks. And it's just for the All Wrapped Up podcast listeners. So basically, they're going to get a 10% off for the next 2 weeks. I know we talked about doing a 5%, but we're going to go ahead and do 10%. All they have to do is type in the offer code All Wrapped Up, and when they do that, they're automatically going to get a 10% discount in their cart when they go to We Print Wraps. So it's a great benefit.
Oh, that's great. I appreciate that. And for the listeners, they're going to appreciate that too. I'll make sure to stop posting. And what's the final date on that for the next 2 weeks, just so I know?
Actually, it'll be till the end of the month, so it'll be to the 30th of January. Also, we offer free shipping over $500, so we're going to let them have both. So it'll be free shipping, and they can enter in an offer code. So I mean, that's huge. Yeah, it's huge. I mean, we're talking getting something shipped to your door free, and you're going to save, 10% off the whole order. So that's pretty big too.
That's great. That's
so they
great.
got to keep listening All Wrapped Up podcast.
Definitely. Yeah, we're going to be posting that up real soon. Trish,
cool.
And then social media accounts and website, where can they all go?
Yeah, they're going to want to go to weprintwraps.com, and everything's on our site. Also, Instagram, it's at We Print Wraps, and then Facebook is also We Print Wraps. So super easy to find us. We love Instagram and Facebook. We're constantly posting, so check us out.
Perfect. Trish, thanks again for coming on the podcast, and thanks again for everything you do for the industry.
Awesome. You're welcome. Okay, bye-bye.
I'd like to thank Trish for taking time out of her day to sit down and talk to us on the podcast. This episode is sponsored by The Wrap Promoter, featuring wraps, graphics, designs, and tools from around the world. To see more, follow at The Wrap Promoter on Instagram and Facebook. For features and advertising, email wrap.promoter@mail.com. And don't forget to subscribe, like, and share our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Google Play, and on iHeartRadio. Till next time, that's a wrap.